Good evening and welcome to Singapore by Night, a Vampire the Masquerade game set in the normally sunny city of Singapore. It's an island city, but it's getting dark, and so are our stories. No, that's a lie. Actually, Singapore by Night is also known by the name I prefer to call it, Singapore, where we try to bring a little levity to the macabre existences of undead monsters that subsist on human blood. And joining me on this journey of exploration is our four players, starting with on my right, it's Tariq, played by Ramji.
Hello.
And on his right, it's Chantel, played by Sheena.
Hey.
Above her, it's Moon Moon, played by Joe.
Hello.
And last but certainly not least, it's Rachel, played by Lisa.
Hello.
So, folks, we are going to start by talking about the fact that this is a Thursday stream on a channel that normally only used to have Monday streams. But the fact that we can have Thursday streams is all thanks to the wonderful largesse of one particular company. And which company would that be, Ramji?
Well, it's funny because I was thinking about this the other day. I was watching Sesame Street, and it reminded me just how much when you're beginning out in life, it helps you to have Oscar the Grouch, the Count, Big Bird, perhaps, tell you how to get from A to C via B. And in a very similar way, I was just considering, as I was thinking about this, just how fortunate you would be if you needed to do business in Asia, or you were just looking to expand here, or maybe just a little soupçon of a frisson of excitement of the parts east of Croydon. And as a result of that, you thought, you know what I need? I need simple, honest, and straightforward technology advice that will allow me to grow or build my business in Asia. So rather like Big Bird, allow me to be the first to tell you to get in touch with ABC, a better consultancy.co. Back to you, Ed.
Wow. Thank you for that succinct yet deeply sophisticated introduction to the company that makes all this possible. So if folks, you're doing business anywhere east of the Bosphorus, you know where to look. Now, that's
it. Or west of the Bosphorus, just if you do business. But anyway.
It's still Turkey. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, we do have a vampire game that runs for the next about 2 hours or so. So we normally start with this thing called downtime. And I think we'll just go in clockwise, circular order. Let's start with Lisa. So Lisa, tell me what Rachel's been up to over the week.
So since our little adventure last week, Rachel has been a little bit freaked out, a little bit scared to hike alone for a while. So she has done her usual camp at ECT at the more populated areas, but still not getting caught when she's, eating. Has been talking to Mike a bit more, hanging out with Professor Susanto a bit more, just to familiarize herself with the ways of the vampires.
It occurs to me that all that is not so great without context. So to offer us that context, I'm going to have to trouble Sheena, who plays Chantel, to give us the quick recap of what went down last week. Sheena, over to you.
All right. So last week, during the downtime, Tariq cast wards on Chantel's haven. She bought some properties, tried to import some guns, but was unsuccessful because the Ventru tried to stop his license application. He reached out to the Kindred in Malaysia, bought himself a set of commercial buildings, and wants to learn a ritual on how to write letters. Yes, he got his sire's help to introduce himself to Nasir in Malaysia to ask for introduction at the Nyx Elysium. Rachel went out shopping with Moon Moon and at Bras Basah and went camping at ECP to reflect on her new vampiric life. She learns that Prof. Susanto works non-stop, wakes up, works, goes to bed. Basically, that's his thing. and he was told by Mike that tonight would actually be a good night to collect the artifact from Shonen Jinja and gave her a magical puzzle box to contain it because apparently the artifact has very old and malevolent powers. Moon brought Chantel out for shopping and also some team bonding, and after that left to do something with the people at Fuchuan. What it was, she'll fill you in a bit. Chantel learned Scry the Soul, and after that went people watching along Orchard Road. She met her primogen, Stephen Lim, who is rather unusual. He stayed there, taught her the ropes on how to do Scry the Soul and all that, and she noticed that he likes to approach a certain type of people and ask them things like, do you want to be a movie star, TV star, that sort of thing. And these people, their aura seem to indicate that they're desperately searching for something. And after they get asked these questions, they would end up being confused and forget what they were trying to ask. What they were searching for, rather. Raffles had previously mentioned that the clan, as in the Malkavian clan, is generally ignored, but are nominally allies with the Banu Hakim. And also that Stephen is considered a pariah of the court. Anyway, after that, Chantel contacted Rachel, met up with Tariq as well, and we all went over to McRitchie to collect the artifact. Yes, that's right. At the reservoir itself, we found out that it was very dark, and we kept having visions as we stepped in. First, it started with Chantel having some visions of the past, of World War II time when the shrine was still very much completely in perfect order, looked wonderful, had Japanese soldiers wandering around, looking very happy with themselves, as one does. And Tariq had a vision when he stepped through the torii arches of the place that was still around. After which Chantel saw this figure of a shrine maiden being pulled away by two black figures. She chased after her and found herself at this well, where in the bottom of the well was a body, and the body was not as, how shall I put it, decomposed as it should have been, given that if it was from World War II, it should probably have just been bones, but it was still kind of fleshy. With her ability to see magical items, she noticed that there was something shiny and coruscating in the water right next to the body. So, with Tariq's help, and also the very well-prepared Rachel, who brought rope and other accoutrements for climbing and spelunking, Tariq managed to get himself into the well, lever up the body together with the item that was tied to her, brought them up, and then we noticed that the item was starting to send out black tentacles into the atmosphere and reaching out for people, as Tariq was desperately trying to open the puzzle box, because every single time you closed it, it became a new puzzle, so you had to reopen it somehow. And we managed to get the item, which was actually about a small marble, into the box and contained it. After which, the body of the shrine maiden seemed to just decompose into bones. Chantel gathered them up, gave her a proper burial, and made a small cairn of it. Cairn? Yes, cairn.
Aaron?
I don't know. The thing where you put the stones on top of a grave. Anyway, so after that, we left the place.
Stone pile.
Sure, that thing. Saw the spirit of the shrine maiden sitting next to her new little grave. Thanked us for our help and stroking the little stone pile. And that was where we left off.
Thank you for that, Sheena. And it might be a good time also to ask Chantel what she's been up to over the week.
Chantel has been trying to find if there was somebody who could teach her how to speak with ghosts. She understands that the Las Sombras have a special ability called, what is it called? Oblivion. So she's gently poking around to see if there's anybody who might know the discipline, or is anybody who is La Sombra that might be willing to speak with her.
Here's the thing, who are you going to ask about this?
She'll start off by asking Raffles, weirdly enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Raffles tells you that he doesn't have anything to do with the Sombra, he doesn't trust them, and you shouldn't either. And proceeds to give you a long lecture on the history of the La Sombra clan and how they've always been a bastion of the Sabbat, and he doesn't trust them at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I absorb that knowledge to share it with the rest of the coterie later, and I also want to know whether he knows anybody who might be able to speak with ghosts.
He claims that he does, but you get the feeling that he's lying because you read his damn aura.
No
Because
problem.
now you can.
That's true. Now I can.
Yeah.
After which, I will approach, weirdly enough, Professor Susanto via Rachel.
Okay. Professor Susanto, you're asking him whether he knows anyone who can speak with ghosts?
Who can what?
You're asking him whether he knows anyone who can speak with ghosts, right?
Yes, correct. Or like
Okay.
it has oblivion.
Professor Susanto, who's quite busy, hands a handwritten note through Rachel to you. Okay, and it has the contact. It's of somebody that has a shop in Fortune Center. On inside, not in the public units. It's really weird because it's in the office units of Fortune Center.
Mm.
Okay, it's on the let me see which floor it'll be on. It's on the 9th floor.
Okay.
Okay, so Rachel, when Professor Susanto handed you the message, Professor Susanto told you, please be careful of this person. Please tell your friend to be careful of when dealing with this person.
I pass on the message.
Okay. So you do have a contact, Chantal. Okay.
What's the context? What's the name of the person?
Cloud on Water.
Okay. Cloud on Water.
But that's what Professor Susanto wrote down. I believe that you would do a relatively simple Google search for Fortune Center and Cloud on Water, and you see her ads as in splattered all over the internet. She's one of Singapore's more famous geomancers. Her services include ghost busting, fortune telling, general feng shui advice, and how to construct specific customized talismans for your specific needs.
I also asked Professor Susanto how secret was the artifact that we were sent to collect.
How secret? What do you mean by that?
Like, does he want it such that we do not tell anybody about the fact that we went to collect it?
Well, he says he advises you. I'm assuming the message was passed back through Rachel as well. So Rachel tells you that he advises that you not talk about it if possible, because it's going to complicate things if somebody else tries to take it. Because they need it to find, to detect the Sabbath if they try to come.
Sure. Cool. Okay.
Okay. So we'll come back to you on that if you plan to visit Cloud on Water.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Moon Moon. Moon Moon, what was up, Joe, with Moon Moon last week? And what's she been doing through the week?
So Fuchuan or Fortune River, which is the live streaming company where Momo works, has been trying to capitalize on the Halloween holiday by selling all kinds of things, including like charcoal, minjiang kueh, as well as other black, dark chocolate and other dark colored items to sell to their purchasers. So she's been non-stop live streaming, and she's kind of annoyed because she only knows that the coterie went jewelry shopping without her. That's the information that she got. She heard that they went to get jewelry, and then she was like, I mean, she went shopping with Rachel earlier, but they didn't get any jewelry. She was like a bit like, so she feels a bit FOMO. But basically, she's been flat out all week just live streaming and doing kind of really human things. She also tries to message Mike and ask how he's doing with a series of emojis, just asking, hello, good morning. And then there's like a sunshine emoji. And like the evening, she's like, except, she does that when she just wakes up at night, because she thinks that the definition of morning is now, and then she sends him like the latest COVID news and a little gifs and waits to see whether he responds.
Mike responds with polite emojis.
What are polite emojis?
Like, the slight smile, thumbs up.
What?
Aubergine, splash, splash.
Yeah, but so she's like, but she doesn't give up. she keeps sending him things throughout the course of the week. Interesting celebrity news about J-Lo and Ben getting back together. Things like
Rachel,
that.
you know about this. Huh? Mike's told you.
How
Uh,
has he told me?
yeah,
like, does he like it?
I'm also going to ask Rachel.
He
Oh no!
he says it so. Rachel, Mike lets you know in a very sort of straightforward, matter of fact way. Oh, your friends messaged me again today. It's the third day in a row she's messaged me.
Oh, but
Yeah.
what do y'all talk about?
Oh, not much. She sends me a lot of emojis and some videos and some news. So I'm very polite in replying because it's very nice of her, but I'm not really interested in all this. That's what he tells you.
Do you want me to tell her?
Oh, I mean, it'd be a bit rude to tell her I'm not interested.
Maybe you could tell me what you're interested in, and then I could pass on the message.
Oh no, it's all right, but thanks.
Moon sends a message to Rachel asking Rachel what Mike is interested in. So that she can message Mike.
He's not a big texter.
Ah, thanks. Oh, okay. I got received the message loud and clear. And then she kind of like winks at Rachel, and then yeah, she starts sending voice messages, WhatsApp voice notes instead to Mike. Anyway, that's how she spends a week, working and texting.
Okay. And Ramji, what's Tariq been up to?
So at the end of last week, Tariq had a moment where he reflected on his brief episode of feelings and decided that that was really just a function of not being able to see well in the darkness. Because really, when you don't see things, your brain makes up stuff. And so he had to deal with feelings, and he wasn't really that happy about that. So he very politely asked Miss Chantal if she would help him, because he was aware that the Markavians have this ability to see things. And so he asked her very politely if she would help him just kind of figure out how to rouse his blood, if you use the expression, to be able to see things in the dark or see things beyond. She was like, I can't see things beyond. I just see whatever. I can't do a Chantal impression. I can't see things beyond. I just see what is there.
I see things, but I can't see.
Yes, exactly. That happened. And so she and so he said that's great, but can you help me figure it out? And so together with a series of back and forth, he learnt heightened senses, the Auspex power.
Nice.
Which means that he's primarily just been happily looking around with heightened senses, going, "Ooh, heightened senses, ooh, heightened senses." But as well as that, he has been. He does his weekly call with Samira, just to give an update of what the world is like and find out if there's anything she needs, but also to he totally tells her about the pearl. And also sort of explains to her the complete unnecessary, like why he's chosen to do the Auspex thing, and the sort of complete distraction of the emotions nonsense, and presume that she's pretty on board with that knowledge. Gives her the insight on what's going on with Professor Santo, and says, I think they want us to invite Miss Rachel to the coterie. I have no reason to believe that there's a compromise here any more than the other members of the coterie. So I'm going to suggest we go ahead with this. Is there any reason I should be suspicious of the Tremere more than any of the other reasons?
Samira lets you know that Susanto is, although incredibly intelligent, is exceptionally bad at politics. So you don't have anything to worry from him with regards to deceit.
He and I would get on very well, then, I suspect.
She does have concerns about, in any case, the fact that she is the child of his child, and she doesn't know his child, and she doesn't know Rachel. So she does let you know that you should reserve judgment. You always should reserve judgment until you can confirm it with data.
Judgment is the reserve of the Banu Hakim, regardless. And so beyond that, yes, he agrees. Says yes, he'll reserve data. He spends most of the week. Does he get a response from the gentleman in
JB?
Yes.
Yes, Nasir and you have been exchanging correspondence. I won't go into detail about it. I'm going to assume that you've exchanged letters. The idea being that what was your intention in contacting?
The intention was, I would say, threefold. The first is to build a relationship with members of my clan, or especially the viziers and sorcerers, specifically so that he has access to people who have more ritual research, and so he can continue his own. And secondly, so that he has allies who are trustworthy, or at least, if not entirely trustworthy, then on the same page.
Nasir uses a cipher that is shared to you by Samira. Okay, this is a cipher that's used by the blood sorcery users. Samira tells you in the region. So Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia, all the Banu Hakim blood sorcery users. So all the sorcerers and all the viziers know this cipher. He and you have been communicating in code. He tells you, he seems quite friendly actually. He's very complimentary, and he says, "Please, when you come and visit, I'll be happy to introduce you to the prince." And if you need any help from me, he will be happy to assist. But but also he volunteers that right now things in Johor Bahru are a bit tense because of he doesn't give you the details. No, he just tells you that things are a bit tense in Johor Bahru.
Yeah.
So you may want to consider, if you're physically coming, waiting a week or two.
Okay. As part of that exchange, Tariq will offer to, if there's any assistance that he could provide in any way, as in it's not, it's more of as a courtesy, but also as a token of good faith.
Yeah. Nasir thanks you and says, rather as sincerely as it comes across in a handwritten note, he says that he will certainly call on you if needed, and he appreciates very much this offer.
And likewise appreciate the offer of the introduction to the prince, and just being nice, right? It's just like, I'm glad you're just not being a straight out big bag out the gate, basically.
There's something in there about us Banu Hakim need to stick together. Sure. We have a tenuous position in these courts, blah blah blah.
Yes, indeed. Okay, and that's really going to speak, because I rolled 5 successes on my money roll.
How close are you?
I believe I'm on 17 out of 25. So the money train is doing good.
You're 2 or 3 weeks away.
Yes.
It will coincide, I think, in real life with a rather big run up in crypto. I don't know.
We'll see.
So, life imitating art. Back to you, Sheena. Okay. When do you want to visit Cloud and Water?
I'm actually gonna reach out to the others to see if anyone is interested.
Okay, so I'll leave it to the party.
Tariq will happily go with Chantal. Additionally, one other thing I meant to mention is that I will send a letter to Rachel. Or first, I'll text the rest of the coterie and say, do we want to invite Miss Rachel to our coterie? And if the answer is yes, or at least on a probationary basis, and I'll sort of say, and if so, how do we do contracts? I'm not really sure about how contracts work here, and what law is there? I know that there's the whole the way that we're supposed to do things, but under what jurisdiction would I sue? And then he kind of goes, forget that. Forget smart contracts about this. But then says, ask the question of Chantal and Miss Moon.
Chantal replies, Rachel is friend.
Yeah.
What is a contract?
Momo replies is it like initiation? It's like probation, like initiation. Then we ask her to come in. Then we ask her to do forfeit, this kind of thing. Wow, so fun. And she says that in a voice message. She finds a way to do it on Signal.
Sure. Okay.
She'll
So,
download audio from WhatsApp and then she will do a voice note on the phone, download it, and then send it to you via voice file.
Tariq just responds with, okay, I will arrange a phone for her. And then so a rather well presented sort of, maybe I'm going to say, let me check the whole sequence before I say that. Early 40s woman will approach you at some point, Rachel, probably where you're at work, and will wait patiently and very politely, and will ask after you, and will hand you a letter, and hand you a phone with it.
Cool. I open the letter. What does it say?
Dear Miss Rachel, presuming you know how to use one of these, please join us temporarily if it suits you as a member of our coterie. If it does not, or it does not suit us, then that is also fine. Best regards, Tariq, son of Fatima.
How much later after your message has have you sent off this letter?
About 7 or 8 minutes.
Oh right. Wow, that's okay. I was gonna okay.
Totally. Like,
intercept.
Tariq has literally got it there on his table. Like, his goal is there, waiting for it to be handed to him. And he's like, I should probably ask them. This is one of those scenarios where, like, just doing something without checking in, they might be a bit hurt. Okay, I will ask them. And then he got very confused by the interplay, and he's like, I think that's yes. Okay, go.
Right. When I think like 1 minute after Rachel receives the letter, she also receives a WhatsApp voice note because Moon insists on communicating with Rachel via WhatsApp, saying like, hi, it's a voice note. Hey, we invite you to join our group. Okay, it's orientation time. It's gonna be real fun. And then like lots and lots of emojis following it.
In the letter, it says, please stop using any and all other forms of electronic communication except via this phone when talking to the coterie.
Okay, so all of your contacts are in the phone already.
There are only 3 contacts in this phone, and you are unable to change any of the contacts in this phone. It is literally, it goes Moon, Chantal, Tariq. There's one chat group which Moon is able to change the subject of. So currently is called, what's it called, Joe?
What is it called again? I can't.
You called it Radin Mask.
Oh, yeah,
last
Radin.
time.
You can
Radin
change it
Mask.
whatever you like.
Radin is Radin Masquerade.
There we go. So it's called that. And but yes, there is, you're like, it looks like you can do things, but you can't.
Okay. Rachel's very excited and she texts us in the chat like, thank you so much for inviting me into your group. I'm so happy to have this next level of friendship with all of you.
Yay.
Get back the
Heart, rainbow,
emojis
star.
from- you get back emojis from Chantel. Like there's a whole bunch of the entire cast of Demon Slayer like shaking hands and dancing.
Oh, so cute. That's it. I only have one response. Wait, the voice note you sent me, is it in the group?
No, I sent it to you by WhatsApp.
Okay, which is on my personal phone.
I think it's on your personal phone, yeah.
Okay.
She has your number because you went shopping, remember?
Yeah. Okay, I respond with a voice note as well. Oh, hi, Moon. Thank you so much. What do we have to do for orientation?
Then I continue to correspond with Rachel via WhatsApp. I'm like, I think let's okay, Rachel, don't worry, okay. I think we go like shopping one more time and then we can get like matching outfits and then it'll be very nice, okay? So I miss
so
you.
everyone wears a matching outfit?
No, but it's something that we can start. Okay, we can buy for everybody also.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I got discount at Bonito Flex, so that's where we're gonna go. Okay, I meet you at Bonito Flex at 7:15. Oh, okay, we need time to travel after sunset, so at 7:45 p.m. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Question for the ST. I don't have a lot of streetwise, but I do have one point in it. Do I know who Cloud and Water is? It just feels like something that my mom might know. I'm not sure.
You've actually, you might have seen her ads. Yeah, she is Singapore #1 Ghostbuster, Singapore #1 for problem with unhappy problem with unwelcome guests at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and I would have So
She has 5 stars on Google, like legit. All her ratings are like 100% all 5 stars. There's like 70 reviews, all 5-star.
okay. But I mean, because I don't really know very much about what the party did last week, so I'm just gonna send a message to Chantel, just say like, oh yeah, this is very famous, like I don't know why are you thinking of redecorating your house, like I don't think that the style of decor will suit your house in Orchard Road, but you can try.
This
And
on the coterie phone.
this is on the coterie phone.
Okay, on the coterie phone, then she replies, I'm thinking she can actually speak with ghosts, and since we met a few, I want to find out more.
Okay. Yeah. Moon.
But
Well,
everyone says they are dangerous and cannot be trusted, so I'm a bit scared.
then maybe we should all go together. Even though there's 4 of us now, and 4 according to feng shui is a bad number. So I don't know whether that will upset her, but I suppose we can try and see what happens. Again, like she records this via voice message, and then she like sends the file to the group. Then she solicits response from Richard and Tariq. Tariq?
Tariq genuinely considers whether he can be bothered disabling your ability to upload files. and then he just has this moment, maybe upon those feelings from last week, where you're like, no, maybe she just likes doing this. Okay, all right, fine. I think that's allowed. It's fine. And so here, when he says, maybe if she does not see me, then it will not count. Is 3 a better number? Like if you take 2 3s and you mirror them together and you push them together really close, like they are octopuses mating, isn't that an 8? An 8 is a very lucky number.
With my street wisdom, or with
And literally the response just comes back, ha ha, joke. See, I made joke.
You receive a voice note of Mumu going, and it's just her laughing, stating her approval.
So have you all sorted out how you're gonna go and where you're gonna meet?
We have no in, right? We're just gonna have to literally cold call this person, in a sense.
I think you have the number.
Yeah, I know. As in, like, we
Yeah.
don't have a
That's
connection.
not
I guess.
at the moment. So Professor Susanto gave you a name and an address. You have her business number from Google.
But are the La Sombras technically Camarilla right now?
They are. I think.
They
In
are.
Singapore.
This La Sombra is Camarilla.
What
This
do I know
is-
about La Sombra, Ed? I have 1 point of occult, 2 points of streetwise, and a relatively decent intelligence.
As part of your education, Samira told you that the La Sombra in Singapore were from Wasabat. They were the enemy and they defected and switched sides after the incidents in the West. And the beckoning had drawn away the elders, which led to the Savat assault. And then a deal was made with the Sombra with the Banu Hakim princes of Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia, she tells you, to bring the La Sombra on board. And they were instrumental in designating Indonesia as the place which would be safest to drive the Sabat towards and contain them.
I will, over the course of the week, as Chantal's teaching me the Auspex stuff, as this conversation has happened, I will let her know this so she's got that risk assessment perspective.
Yeah, the La Sombra in Singapore have only been Camarilla for a very short time, just a few years.
Tariq, since you're Banu Hakim
Mhm.
and we are investigating Rico, like there's dot as you see the typing and then another word comes up. Maybe we can go and see her about it as well.
You know, I genuinely feel that currently only 3 of the clans desperately hate the Banu Hakim, and this is an opportunity to make 4. So why not?
So you're okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'm free tonight. And then you see a sticker of Nezuko holding up a hand.
I need you to explain to me. One of you guys needs to send me an image of what Nezuko is. I have no idea what you're talking about. But that's a whole different conversation.
Somebody in chat, in
Somebody
Twitch chat, help
or someone on
Tarika.
Discord.
Discord, I think it's easier.
Oh, Discord. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. Yeah, send
But not
Tarika a picture
Discord,
of
you should
Nezuko,
be.
please, from Demon Slayer.
But Tariq responds with Kramer from Seinfeld.
Oh my gosh.
Different generations,
Moon is like, who's that old man? Anyway, okay, so do we make arrangements to visit Clown Water tonight?
He'll do the lap. He'll pick you all up.
Okay,
I
but
see if I can make an appointment to go and visit.
yeah,
Good idea.
because
Okay. Chantel, do you call or do you message?
I message.
This is a business WhatsApp number. What do you ask?
Hello, would like to see me. Is it a miss?
Miss.
Yeah, Miss Cloud on Water tonight if possible. Is she available?
Sorry, fully booked, but can take last minute can walk in.
Okay.
Is okay?
It's okay. Want to ask her about ghosts.
what are the opening hours though? You know what I mean? Because like, can we walk
There's
in?
no opening hours. Chantel has been told. So Sheena, Chantel has been told in the message to walk in at 10:30 p.m. and wait. Okay, so that's what you have.
I screenshot and then send back. Wait, how? A bit difficult. Okay, I use the coterie phone to take a picture of the screen from the other phone so you guys can see the conversation.
Rick is very happy with that. and he sends you one of the Dogecoin dogs smiling, the Shiba smiling game.
This is great.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome until it doesn't.
I sent another voice file back. Does anybody open it?
I would.
It says, it's so cute, the dog. And that's it.
That is now Moon's phone ring. So Rick just like has broken. And he is like, okay. And so he goes to the admin console and he sets every time Moon receives a text on the coterie phone, unless it's in silent mode, it goes, that is so cute.
Moon takes it as a sign of approval. And she's fine. Okay, so I'm taking Rachel shopping at Bonito Flakes, and I suppose we'll let Tariq know to pick us up from there. The nearest branch is at Funan Center, so that's where we are.
It's okay. We can fast forward. Tariq, sorry, Ramji, could we bump it up to
You got it.
full screen? Okay.
Okay.
So here we are at Fortune Center at night. You've parked the car and you're heading up. So Fortune Center at night is not the most happening place. In fact, it's not the most happening place at any time. If you've been to Singapore, and I've realized that this game has been an opportunity for me to introduce Singapore to our friends in other countries. Hey, Singapore Tourism Board, are you paying attention? So Fortune Center is a fairly interesting shopping mall that's very old. It's about 4 decades old. It's got this truly eclectic mix of tenants. It's well known for food on the ground floors, which is all closed at the moment. It is very, very strategically located. Like on the right side of this picture, next to this road, is actually a Hindu temple, which is a single unit away from Singapore's arguably most famous Chinese temple. It's a temple to Kuan Yin, the goddess of mercy. And that temple is so rich, I kid you not, that I've heard that when they count the offerings, they have to bring in security because there's literally a mountain of money that they then process and put into armored cars. Okay, that it is like spiritualism central. Also, a fascinating thing about that Chinese temple is that the Chinese people who go to pray there also, along the way, will also pray at the Hindu temple, in a wonderful example of Singapore's multiculturalism and the fact that we just have Chinese people who are trying to hedge their bets. Anyway, that aside, Fortune Center can feel very dingy and a bit scary at night. You're not stopped for any trace together checks on the way, and you take the lift all the way up to the 9th floor. This is a strata mall and building, so you know that all of the people here own their units unless they're renting it. Okay, Cloud on Water probably does. You see, you were perhaps concerned about, because none of you really come here very often. You may have been concerned about whether you would have found the correct unit, but there's a gigantic picture of her right outside.
Unmissable.
This spans it's a floor to ceiling poster that covers the length of 2 office units. And this is the picture of her. Right? And so when you arrive there, and I assume, Chantal, you ring the bell?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm using my heightened senses there to see if there's anyone else in that picture that you're not supposed to see.
Not
It looks like she's pointing right at someone right there.
Oh,
No, not
It's
with your
true.
heightened senses. No, we shouldn't. So for Tariq, I'll tell you if something is too dark to see. For Chantal, I'll tell you if something is too shroud to see.
Is this place beautiful?
I'm afraid not. It's dingy.
It's the 9th floor of the Fortune Center. I'm afraid it is not.
Maybe inside the shop will be
But
beautiful.
what is beautiful is when they open the door.
Ah, there we
And
go.
it is lavishly appointed in red and black. There's a certain level of kitsch to it, but it's very rich sort of feng shui kitsch. That's the best way I can describe it. We're not talking like cats waving their hands. No, there are what you would normally identify as accoutrements related to geomancy or people who are trying to adjust their luck. The large crystals, there are talismans, there are these compasses, and also these beautiful paintings of landscapes, all of night scenes. And everything is lit in this warm light that really brings out the red. There's this rich dark red everywhere, thick red carpet. You feel like it's an inch thick. It's not that thick, but when you're walking on it, you feel a bit like you're swimming. You're like, oh, this is a really thick carpet. And you're asked to sit on a couch, and you realize that this is one of 3 waiting rooms, because you were ushered past 2 other waiting rooms where there were people waiting. They're not closed off, but there are people waiting there. And you see in the other 2 waiting rooms were people who are dressed, if I can best describe it, are being rich. You see like middle-aged men wearing Rolexes and
Gold chain.
yeah. And there's a Tai Tai on the second one who's it's 10:30, folks, and her do is perfect. All right.
The higher the hair, the closer the god.
And the Tai looks like she's accompanied by two younger men who are very good looking but wearing suits. So Tariq, straight away, you know that they're her bodyguards.
Okay. So I realized that with Scry the soul, I'm able to tell whether somebody's kindred or not. If
None
I'm
of them
able
are.
to see. Okay.
None
Oh, human.
of the people you've met are kindred so far. Can you identify ghouls?
Good question. Let me search on that while you continue.
I'm gonna assume that you can, okay? So you can pick up kindred vitae.
Aye.
Okay. The person who greeted you and opened the door is this middle-aged lady wearing a pantsuit, red and black also, and
Yes.
she's a ghoul.
So here's it: emotional state, resonance, whether they're a vampire, werewolf, ghoul, whether they've had any blood sorcery or have been influenced by it, whether they've committed diablerie in the last year, or whether they cheated on their exams at any point in their career. So, hey, Ranger, you're in trouble.
Quick shout out to Ranger there. So yeah, Chantel, she's a ghoul. The rest are all mortal.
Okay, interesting. I will see if I can speak with her specifically. Hello. We are here to speak with Miss Cloud on Water.
Yes, you are the ones. I understand you are the ones who are the walk-ins.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
We belong to the same group, so I'm hoping that she can make an exception and see us later.
Oh, I'm very sorry, because our other two guests have been waiting for quite a while also.
I understand. And what we have to discuss, they should probably not be around for that as well.
Oh no, Master Cloud on Water, her room is very private one. You don't worry.
Okay, that's good.
You notice there's something a bit auntie about this lady. Okay, this ghoul. She's a bit. She's very well dressed, but not particularly well spoken. But she seems very competent at what she's doing. You feel reassured. So you think, socially quite adept. Maybe that's why she's a ghoul. Okay, I'll leave. You do realize also that due to the ridiculous amount of fabric, sounds are also dulled. So you can't really hear what's being said in the other rooms, unless they're speaking above a loud whisper.
Even with heightened senses?
Heightened senses.
Let me tell you.
Let me give Tariq some background info.
So it's free, but I have to roll wits plus resolve to see if I get criticals. Okay. And if somebody throws a flashbang at me, it's a bad day. And
while Ramji's checking that, Rachel, Chantel, Mumu, can you roll your rouse checks, please? To check your hunger levels.
Whoa.
Same thing for you, Tariq. Please check your hunger levels for your rouse check.
So basically, I add my Auspex rating to all perception rolls. I can hear ultrasonic frequencies. I can smell the fear of cowering prey. I can see in pitch darkness. I have a preternatural degree of ability to hear.
Preternatural.
Not preternatural.
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 Well, Peter natural. So your Peter abilities. What do you make a wits plus resolve roll? See what you hear.
Now I need to figure out what that number is. 2.
Okay, it's 2 to hear the conversation next to you, 3 to hear the one across. Okay.
That's good. That's very good. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 successes out of 5.
No problems. Okay, I'll tell you the conversations that you're overhearing. So, Rachel, Chantal, Mumu, you see Tariq is ever so slightly just angling himself towards the other two rooms. Tariq, you hear the following. The gentleman with the Rolex is alone. Okay, let's call him the Tauke. And he's been on the phone.
You can call him that. I couldn't even say it. What I'm calling him? What?
The boss.
Okay.
The boss. Okay.
The boss has been very quietly on the phone talking to someone in English, and you can pick it out because it's in halting English. And he's saying things like, "Don't worry, I'll have the money for you. I just need to sort this out first. Recently, very unlucky." Okay, so it appears that he's in debt, and that's likely to be the reason why he's here, or he's been unlucky recently. That's that's what you that's what you conclude, right? The lady next to you is royalty. Specifically, she is a cousin of the Sultan of Perak. And she's been complaining to her bodyguards about how troublesome it was to get over the causeway to come and see Master Cloud on Water. All right. So it wasn't clear to you before, but you're like, oh, she must be Malay because she's from Malaysia. She's the cousin of the Sultan of Perak.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's what you have.
The Beng chap,
The boss.
that guy. Okay. Right. Can I recognize him? Is he obviously?
He's not famous. He's not famous enough for you to know who he is.
All right, I'm pretty just going to spend some time remembering what he looks like.
That's fine. Okay.
Question is that when the ghoul responded to Chantel, right? I mean, using my intelligence or wits, or streetwise or whatever, do I notice that? Does it seem like she has noticed whether any of us are vampires or not really?
No, you can't. If she has, you haven't detected it. Don't need to roll.
And we would all have our what's it called? Blush of life up.
Yeah.
Do you all have blush up?
You have to, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Rachel and I just went shopping, so I imagine we did. But I'm also just wondering. I'm wondering whether we will get beneficial treatment if she realized we were a vampire.
And the question really is, how are you going to tell her? She doesn't seem to have noticed. Is what I'm telling you.
Right. Because now we're queuing lah, so I'm just wondering whether we.
And you don't know how long it's going to take.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'm gonna kind of like look around at Chantel, Rachel, Tariq, and then I said, I think I want to make myself a little bit pretty from Masquerade and Water, and I'm going to like sort of go to a corner and switch on my awe, and just look at the ghoul. Has she introduced herself?
You can ask her for her name.
So I'll switch on my awe, and then I'll be like, "Hi, Miss. Hi, Miss.
Yes.
Hi, Miss. What's your name?"
Oh, you can call me Sally.
Sally. Yeah. So anyway, right. You say you don't know how long it's going to take for us to see the Master Clan Water, right?
It might be quite a wait, but please be patient. I guarantee you that it will be worth it.
Ah, I see.
Especially since the four of you make the effort to come down, and then you all breach the social regulation also so clearly that it must be a very important thing.
Right. So even after I switch on my awe, does she appear to have clocked anything? Is she speaking to us any differently?
Not yet.
Huh. Okay. So I go back to the rest of the coterie. I'm like, it doesn't really work on women, huh? Okay.
Maybe she doesn't. She just thinks you're very attractive.
I mean, that's very sweet of you to say. How maybe I should try a different look, and I look at Chantel and Tariq and Rachel. Chantel and Tariq meaningfully, and Rachel not so meaningfully because Rachel has no idea what I'm talking about. And I'm like,
we have 3 dots of Shas, and we're literally next door to our place, right? So
you're not far.
You're across the other side of Middle Road, basically, right?
You're not far.
So I guess the question is, like, I get the boundaries of domain are, there, that's your boundary, but surely the people in the next door over would know who you were.
That's the thing, you've never introduced yourselves. And Tariq, unfortunately, because you're not very public about your presence.
They don't need to know me, that's fine. They can know the others. I'm very happy with that.
The others also don't have the havens in the Shas.
I think so. That's fine.
Yeah. So, insofar as Tariq, you do have a presence that it is not well known.
No, they're quite right. Yeah, no, I wouldn't expect to be known. Yeah, it's more of a these are the famous people I hang with, right? So, what you said would be much more likely if either Chantel, Moon, or Rachel has an established haven and spends
time publicly in
Right.
the area, then
Right.
the other kindred nearby might come and interact with you.
That makes a lot of sense. I would imagine the folks within our domain would know us because that's part of what the whole point of it is. But I can get that. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. In which case, so where is smoke on the water?
A cloud on. So there's another door at the far end. So you're kind of in waiting room 3. So think of yourself as down the queue. So on the far end, there is a door that's rather. It's a set of brass double doors, and you're just like, what the hell? And it's very out of place. So that must lead to her office, her consultation room, whatever that is. Okay, so
So I continue, like Tariq has not responded to my question, so I transfer my meaningful look to Chantel and Rachel, like, yeah, maybe I should give her a different look rather than the attractive one. What do you think? And I do my, without turning on my frightening gaze, I do my like scariest face so they know what I'm talking about.
Oh, what if you just do this and then Chantel kind of smiles widely to show fangs?
Oh yeah! Well, that's a good idea. Should we all do it together? Or like
Maybe
Tariq
just
looks like his heightened sensitive picks up the expression on absolutely everybody's face.
no, nobody else can see you at the moment.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're being careful to make sure the other humans don't see it.
Yeah,
That's perfect,
you
yeah.
are not. So imagine waiting room, wall, waiting room, wall, your waiting room.
Oh, I see. Okay,
and
then
one
that makes loads
common
of sense.
corridor
That makes loads of sense. Okay,
outside.
cool.
Sorry, I should have described that better.
No, it's fine. It's my bad for not listening. I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, then Drake's just not stressed about it.
so shall we go and smile? Should we go and smile at Sally?
It's always nice to smile, I think.
Oh, sorry, Chantal, were you on mute?
No, I'm not on mute.
Yeah,
I'm just
Terry
speaking
just
a bit
nods
too
at me.
quietly.
Okay. So shall we go and smile? We're going to smile together? Okay. 1, 2,
We
3.
don't need to coordinate this sort of.
Sure. I need to check with the coterie. Are you inviting? You're calling Sally over? or
Yeah.
calling to
Calling
Sally?
Sally over here.
Okay. You call Sally over. Okay, she's like, yes. You can detect a hint of impatience in her tone. Yes. How can I help you?
Hi. And I do my biggest like. I think maybe it's not clear. But basically, I think we are possibly we have a close relations with your mistress. And we would really like to speak to her urgently because, as you know, our time, and I smile very badly, is limited and we have to live in a short while.
Do you show your thanks?
I do.
Okay.
But my oar is still on. So it looks like I'm polite.
Sally says, oh, I see. Just a moment, please. You wait. You hear the sounds of
massage my face. Yeah.
you
okay.
hear the sounds of what must be the brass double doors opening and closing. And not 2 minutes later, she's back and indicating for the 4 of you to come. And as you walk by, the lady and the man, both of them have expressions of irritation on their faces as they clearly cannot believe that you've jumped the line.
I turn my face full on to them without showing my fangs, but I'm like, so sorry with my oar. It's just been a very short while. And I breeze past them. Don't worry. And yeah, I walk past them. Do they look mollified?
No, but they're staring at you as you go.
Okay, well. I
They're
tried.
gonna stomp you later.
You're brought into a look. It makes no sense, but her office is her room is an entire office unit that's been converted into what appears to be a very large office with 3 couches arranged in a triangle shape around a triangular coffee table. And seated on one of the couches that's facing you as you enter is this lady. And she's not holding the compass, but she's got her hands open and gesturing for the four of you to sit, two on each side.
Hey Ed, I'm looking around to see if there's another form of large seating sort of place, because then you'd have a fourth couch. Sorry, moving on.
Tariq, you're not cloaked, right?
Moon does not laugh at this.
I didn't say
Funny
it out
meh?
loud. Joe's not laughing at it.
Funny
Just
meh?
saying.
I don't think it's funny. Yeah, okay. Then, some more?
So she gestures for you all to sit. I assume that you all take a seat. And
Yes.
she says, I hope that there is a good reason why you all have decided to come and show your thanks to my ghoul. Big smile on her face. The smile doesn't change.
We wanted to say hello. We're your new neighbors.
That's it. Chantel and Moon Moon, the two of you are Rachel, your social's not that great, right?
No, I think it's like decent, but not anything special.
Chantel and Moon Moon, you all can tell that there's rising sense of malice or anger in her tone, even though she's still smiling. And she says, so you all just came to say hello? That's it?
No, that's not all. We understand that you're one of the most famous people from your clan here in Singapore, and we wanted to meet your acquaintance.
Tariq says, and also I hear that you used to be Sabat and you knew someone called Rico.
I interrupt. This is when
You completely missed all of this, right?
This is when Momo's laugh come up. And then I look at
Moon Moon, is your all still on?
my all is still on.
Okay.
Oh, okay. But basically I look at her and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I apologize for my friend.
Don't apologize for me.
Then I'm like, maybe I'm not referring to you. Maybe I refer to somebody else. Maybe I refer to Rachel. Hopefully to confuse Tariq enough so
So
that he will
to
keep
Rachel for a
quiet.
second, and then it looks like
She's slowly, Moon Moon,
Yeah.
she's looking at Tariq, but she's slowly raising a finger in your direction. She said,
Oh,
one finger. And then she turns the finger at Tariq.
miss.
You're making a very strong allegation here.
Oh, no, miss. This is not an allegation. We are curious to know if you can help us with an investigation. Not anything in your direction negatively.
I at this point again I'm like and then I look at her and I'm like, Miss Clownwater, we sincerely apologize if we have offended you. The truth is that we are the newest members of the Camarilla.
Yes, I saw you at
Yes.
Pasir Panjang.
And we want to come here and introduce ourselves personally because we have not had the pleasure to make the acquaintance of the people from the La Sombra. And we understand that you are one of the most famous of La Sombra here. And we want to sincerely offer our services or our friendship.
Tariq is looking at Moon very confused. Like he has a look of just confusion on his face.
Our friendship, and also because we have a limited time, as you understand, before we have to go back to our respective haven, and it was very important that we found time to sincerely come and introduce ourselves formally.
Moon Moon, make a suck up roll. Add all to your persuasion plus manipulation.
Okay.
Sorry, can I ask? For my social, maybe it's a bit high. My charisma is 3, manipulation 4, composure 1. Is that considered high?
So fierce.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
It's pretty decent.
Okay.
Yeah, but your one composure is.
I'll give you a comparison here, Lisa. I have a charisma of 1 and a persuasion of 0.
What am I going to use?
You're rolling persuasion plus manipulation, and add your all to it.
Okay. Okay. Rolling. That's 5 out of 8 successes. I mean, 5 out of 8 dice.
Okay, 5 successes is enough. Cloud and Water, her smile still remains, but she nods at you, Moon, and looks back to Rick and says, "So you want to know about Rico? I haven't seen him in a very long time. I don't know what I can tell you about him that everybody else already knows. Maybe it's more useful for you to ask someone from your clan. Maybe the sheriff will know better."
We have, miss, and your unique expertise is why it seemed like a reasonable question.
And
Three just looks and waits.
Whenever there's a silence, Momo starts laughing. It's because basically, Mr. Clownwater, I have to say that this is a useful information that we would love to find out more about. But it's only because we understand that you have foreign connections. We don't have any at all. But actually, my friend Chantiao, she got some question to ask you to seek your expertise as well. Maybe before we go into this topic about our friends.
she folds her arms and leans back into the couch, and she's looking a little bored. This won't take much longer, right?
Not a ghost.
Okay.
And they say that the La Sombra have a way to connect with them. I was wondering if you're one of those who can.
We can't talk to them unless they want to talk to us.
Okay. So, can you?
If they want to talk to me, yes. But if they can talk to me, they can also talk to you.
Right.
So what's your point?
So you're saying you cannot teach me anything new. Okay. I study her aura if I can see it.
She is absolutely bored to death. She's really just wondering when you will leave.
Okay. I think that's it, unless Tariq, you want to ask her more. If not, we're just taking up her time.
Tariq is just sort of still looking at her, waiting for her to answer the question. Oh, I thought that I was still waiting for an answer.
What do you know about Rico?
I'm willing to share, because I think you already know this as an elder. But
No, because I'm not an elder, but if you already know what I know, then there's no need for me to tell you more. But if you tell me what you know, then I can add to the things you don't know.
I'm very happy to help you know what I know, which is that he has, and I'll just describe the large bat wings, the fact that he's sort of involved in the last attack, and that there is a bit of a concern that I have that he may be at large in the area and have an issue with Singapore.
She shrugs. If he's in Batam, he's already taken over the entire island. He's unstoppable. He's very powerful and very dangerous.
What does he want?
She raises her eyebrows. Have you ever dealt with one of his clan? Spoken to them? Asked them what they want?
No.
What clan is he?
Yeah, the Timitsu.
I'm sorry, is that one of the Chinese words I do not know?
They're monsters. They're a clan of monsters.
Does that ring any bells? Have I heard of them?
The Timitsu?
Yeah, I've got a cult one and a bit of knowledge. It's better.
You know about them. They're the bogeyman of the modern Sabbat. Samira's told you about them. They're flesh crafting, monster transforming nightmares. And arguably, Samira tells you, the most likely to go on a completely unhinged frenzy killing spree just for the sheer fun of it.
What do you mean by he has already taken over? As in the humans are enslaved?
He will have control over the entire island. The police, the government, everyone. Even the gangs and the underworld, he will have control of all of them. The businesses, legal and illegal, all of it will be under his control. Anybody stupid enough to step foot on Batam, who's from the Camarilla, will die before they take 2 steps.
Moon at this point is looking very concerned. I mean, she's just looking very quietly, like worried about herself and just thinking about Zoo's wife and whether she should tell them to get out of there. So at this point, she's gone very, very quiet.
Trick will lean forward ever so slightly and sort of say, thank you, that is very good information, and I appreciate your honesty and your forthrightness. And says, please, another one if you don't mind, and then we'll get out of your hair. Does he have any motivations or reasons or things that we can do to impel him in a different direction? Or is it just break things because they can be broken?
She laughs a little. Rico, if you're able to look him in the eye and insult him, he will not stop until he personally pulls out your heart and eats it in front of you. Trust me, I've seen it for myself.
Moon wanders to Rachel and just like slowly starts patting her back soothingly. Because Moon has seen that Rachel looks a little bit alarmed.
And the thin-blooded are his weapon of choice, or just weapon?
She shrugs. I think they have a particular Nosferatu there with a particular quirk of the blood that they like to exploit. But the fact that he hasn't done it again means that he has other things planned. And she stops and says, and she sighs, I've told all this to your sheriff already. Why are you wasting my time?
We sincerely apologize. We sincerely apologize, Miss Cloudwater. We really just, I have to say, I've been a big fan of your work. Yeah, even before I became part of your big family here in the Camarilla, and I suppose we really just wanted to introduce ourselves. So now that you have met us, hopefully we'll continue to have a excellent relationship in the future. Yeah. This is our newest member. Her name is Richard. And I just saw because Richard doesn't say anything. I'm like,
Hi. Hello, nice to meet you. Sorry to disturb you.
Yes, and you should all be so sorry that you're taking your leave right now, right?
He says, you have my thanks. Goodbye. And he just stands up.
Yep, and Chantel stands up as well. Thank you, bye.
Thanks.
Just
Thanks,
floats out
bye.
the room.
Momo is like, thank you. By the way, I have to say your place is very beautiful, and if you need to reach us, we are not far. Yeah, thank you. You should like back out the room. Thank you.
Chantal, on the way out, can you please make a wits plus or specs roll? So Moon, when you say the thank you, she's like, of the 4, Moon, she's the most obviously like okay with you.
3.
Okay.
3 successes. You... Oh, okay. Chantal, you're last to leave the room for whatever reason. And out of your peripheral vision, as the door was closing, you saw 2 spinning black things like spools on a sewing machine.
Mhm.
You saw 2 spinning black things start to unravel in the 2 corners of the room, furthest away from the door, behind Cloud of Water.
Okay.
As the door was closing.
How big are they?
About as tall as a human being.
So were they there before, or is just...
You started to see 2 things unspooling. You don't have heightened senses, right? Tariq does, right?
I have heightened senses. She has.
Okay, Tariq, roll heightened senses. You need. Oh, how many will you need? Four. Four successes.
I have exactly 4. I have a 5, and then the rest of the 6, 9, 8.
Even with heightened senses, Tariq, you can only hear this very muffledly. You hear, so the other 3 of you don't hear anything. Only Tariq hears this. You hear. Why have they decided to come and ask you these questions now? It's a male voice.
Oh shit.
Then you hear another male voice. Maybe they suspect us. Maybe they've always suspected us and never stopped. Okay, this is what you hear, Tariq. 2 distinct male voices. 2 different male voices.
Okay. So I will, as we walk out, I will so wait a little bit. We'll get a little bit out and beyond. I will let everybody know what I heard.
I'm going to assume you get to the car park and get in your car.
Well, before that, actually, a little bit before that, I'm going to ask the coterie if they think I should go back and have a sneak around and listen.
After you tell us about
the
2
female
things,
voices.
then yeah, I mean, like Moon is like, yeah, I think you should. Chantel, you can also see things, right?
Did your spider
Can't hear
senses
you,
go off?
Chantel.
I saw 2 black figures by her, but I can't hide like Tariq can.
Okay. Tariq, will you be okay? You wanna got some special signal in case like something happened to you?
I'm sorry, say that again.
You want to give us a special signal or signal?
I would very much appreciate it if you signal consistently. That would
I
be.
do. Then you
I
see all
appreciate
the.
it.
Yeah. So are you gonna be okay? Like you want to send us any special signal in case like you need help or something?
The signal is if you have not heard from me again, I would say maybe within an hour. Then that's a problem, right?
Rachel cannot hide or anything, right? Rachel, can you hide?
I'm not sure. How do I check whether or not I can hide?
She has no obfuscate.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah,
basically,
she's
gonna say,
more of a dominate monster.
so he's going to suggest that like one of them, with Chantal's help, maybe oh no, we forgot something. As if you go back to the door, you open it, and
I
then
did forget something.
wonderful.
I opened the boot and I pull out a little gift bag that I put together. It has 1 packet of the fatty blood and 1 packet of the healthy blood.
Oh
And
yeah.
then I've gift wrapped them nicely in a cooler bag.
So you can take that bag. I'll obfuscate behind you, and let me know if you can see me first. That's actually a good point. Let me know if you can see me, and then I will try harder, perhaps. And then I will basically we'll find that corner. I'll obfuscate up, and then see if Chantal can see me. And then if she can't see me, then I'll feel comfortable to be able to wander in.
Let's see if I can see you.
Should-
And it's wits plus obfuscate.
What do I roll again?
Wits plus obfuscate for you, wits plus auspex for me.
Wits plus obfuscate. So.
Should Rachel and I go in and distract the people and the ghoul? What do you think?
Shouldn't be
Okay, so it's
necessary.
a 4 for Chantel.
I
5, is it?
4.
4.
I will spend blood. Oh, that's good. That is 0, 6. So that's 4, 5, 6.
I think
7
if you
successes.
want to do that, Moon, Rachel would kind of just follow awkwardly.
It's your charisma quite high, right?
Yeah. But I think I imagine it's not really in her nature to like be flamboyant and try to distract them in that way, especially in this like very unfamiliar place where a woman is where the cloud of water already seems pretty pissed.
Sure. No, I saw Momon will ask the rest of the party like, how do y'all want us to go like? Because Rachel is actually, even though you cannot tell it from looking at her, she's apparently quite charismatic. So I was thinking that maybe we can go in like talk to the ghoul and just distract her, so that y'all can do your thing. What do you think?
Works for me. And I say, Miss Chantal, can you see me? It's a crit with 7 successes.
Oh,
I can't see you.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay, so I suppose the girls can go back and give the gift back, and then Chantel can go in, and then the rest of us can talk to the humans and the guru outside.
Okay, so that's the plan. Tariq will follow Chantal And Rachel and Moon, the two of you will distract who?
Basically,
Sally?
yeah, mostly Sally, I think. Sally is probably the most important. Then if any humans come along because they're angry or anything, then we can also just like keep them away
I'm
from.
not sure that she'll let us see her again, so I might have to give it to Sally.
Okay, okay.
That's fine. Just
Yeah.
so that the door itself does not need to be open and closed. That's all I need.
Can so we just all just go and then we can talk to Sally and
Okay.
yeah, make sure the humans don't come out and because I'm presuming that if the humans go into Cloud and Water's room, I don't know whether the figures will talk to her also. I
Sure.
don't know. Yeah, so I don't know whether we should also just like
Go
talk to
in
the humans.
and then leave so that they can carry on talking to her as if normal. Otherwise, they will be very suspicious.
Okay.
We bumble in, and then you leave me there. If I do not come back within an hour, remember you forgot something, and come back and look for me, or alternatively burn this place to the ground.
No, we will call for backup. And then I do eyebrows at Tariq. We'll call for backup security.
Okay. So
You can't see Tariq.
Tariq knows
You
what I'm saying.
categorically can't see Tariq.
okay.
Okay,
So
I'll just do a big eyebrows.
the one that I need to ask specifically as to what they're gonna do is Tariq. So Ramji, what is specifically Tariq attempting to do, and what does he hope to achieve in there?
So Tariq is attempting to, with all of like the sneakiness he's got, he is attempting to get to a place where he can hear with his heightened senses, be completely out of the way. He's not even trying to go in that room, right? Because he was able to hear.
You can stand by the door because you
Sure.
were by the door when you heard it.
Correct. And he wants to hear he wants to eavesdrop.
Okay, that's fine.
And if you can't get a good, after 45 minutes to an hour, he doesn't hear anything, he'll come out and just go like, yeah, well, that was a waste of time, but at least we tried.
Rachel, Chantal, and Movement, I will allow you all, if you want, okay, to charm Sally, as it were, to make her more amenable to the three of you. So I'll let you do that if you want. So you can, the three of you can make your best social check on her, whatever your best social check is.
Sorry, can you help me run through how I would do that?
Okay, so look at the middle column of your C sheet. Yeah.
I see it, yeah.
Find one of the attribute that's your highest, and then one of your skills that's the highest. That would be relevant to this particular situation. So like persuasion or subterfuge or something like that.
Yeah. So manipulation 4 and persuasion 3.
Okay, yeah, that works.
And then use some blood to give yourself 9 dice. Why not?
Yep.
If you wanted to. So Ramji, for Tariq, can I ask you what are your intelligence, wits, and resolve stats?
Intelligence 3, wit 2, resolve 3.
Okay. Can you please make a resolve plus Auspex roll?
Resolve with Auspex. I have 1 Auspex. Okay, so it's
Because you're listening.
Yeah. Would you like hunger dice?
Yes, unfortunately for this one.
I will. If I'm listening and it's important, I'm going to use blood as well.
It probably is.
Yeah. So
okay. For the ladies, your social role, I'm just gonna let you know it's not as important unless you watch it spectacularly.
4 successes, no failures. Okay.
Okay, so Tariq, I'll get back to you on that one. Let's settle Rachel, Chantal, and Moon first. Let me know how many successes you have.
5.
5 for Moon. Chantal has 4. Rachel?
Okay, so I will be rolling 7 dice, is it?
Go ahead.
Okay, I am. Oh, okay. Okay, I fail 4 and I pass 3.
Yes, you have to roll hunger dice.
Just now when I rolled the hunger, it was a pass.
This is a new one.
Oh, okay. And I passed.
Just
Pass.
Okay. That's fine. So, okay. So, I will let the three of you know that the three of you are doing this thing where Chantal is handing the gift to Sally. And Sally is actually quite taken aback at what a nice and thoughtful gift this is for Master Cloud. Okay, so I'll let you all describe Sally's response to me and what you all do.
Chantal sending over the gift, so please go ahead.
Okay, I guess she's like, quite surprised because we were initially not exactly very polite, I guess, and then after that she feels a little bit more compelled to help speak up on our side and and explain that we got off on the wrong foot to Cloud on Water.
And Rachel takes her hand and apologizes for the trouble, understands how hard her position is, to make sure that everyone gets their turn as fairly as possible. But she went out of her way to put us first, and how we appreciate that gesture that might get her into trouble, with the other people. But how great that was of her to do that for us, and how we really appreciate it.
Moon is going to try and figure out what dialect group she is and speak in that dialect and just say, wow, you work very late, must take care of yourself, sometimes my live stream channel got anti-aging, got things, to give you like energy, you can try and join me sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's super, at the end of it, she's super akati with the three of you. You even managed to, she quietly gives you, Moon, you got 5 successes, right, Moon?
Yeah.
Okay. She even quietly gives you her contact number.
What is the dialect group?
Dialect group is Teochew.
Oh, good.
Okay. And then she quietly gives you her contact number because you said that you can get her special products
discount.
Yes.
from your streaming. Then she's
Yeah.
like, I want. So you call me next time if you got special discount. Okay. So Moon, you have Sally's contact.
Come here. Okay, bye-bye.
Will the three of you leave after that?
I feel that we should stay and chat with her. I mean, we need to let her go in with the thing. Okay, then we then we should leave lah, right? To avoid suspicion.
She will not re-enter the room. You'll notice that the Sultan's cousin is in. So the boss is still outside. The Sultan's cousin is no longer in the waiting room, so you assume that she's inside with Cloud and Water.
Okay. Momo is concerned about how long Tariq is gonna have to wait before getting in. Should we?
Tariq's plan was to stand outside.
And until the door opens, is it?
No, just to listen through the door.
He's eavesdropping. He doesn't really care who he sees, right? He just wants to listen to hear what's going on.
Oh, okay. But are you in are you in the, because you have to get into her special chamber
He's
with
right by the doors. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So you don't care about looking at the two
Correct.
shadowy
I mean,
figures.
that's entirely optional and opportunistic if it happens.
Okay lah. Then should we leave then? The rest of us.
You're free to, because of the number of successes you all had, you're free to stay and chat with Sally as Tariq is eavesdropping.
Okay. Maybe we should do that just to make sure she doesn't notice anything. Okay.
Okay. Tariq, you hear from inside the room, okay, some rather disturbing. Do you speak Malay?
He does not speak Malay. Tariq only speaks English, I think.
You don't understand what's being said. You hear this.
I can y'all might be aware by now that I speak a bit of Malay, but I don't know what use that will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tariq, you hear a voice that sounds, okay. It's as if it sounds like this, and it's speaking very seriously.
Like Bane in films, or?
Yeah, but it doesn't sound human.
Oh, right.
And it really doesn't sound human, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's speaking in Malay.
It's speaking in Malay.
Okay.
And after that, you hear a woman crying. And sobbing, but
the words.
Okay, the rest of you don't hear this. That room is quite quiet. Okay, then you hear a woman crying, and this for Tariq only. You hear her crying, and it's not like she's crying for help, but she sounds like she's heartbroken. And after that, even though you don't understand the language, you can hear that same woman who's crying. She's saying something as if to beg for help from someone. it sounds like a please help, even though you don't understand the language.
And is
Please
she
help
saying
me.
it like in a sort of help me Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of way? Is she repeating the name of the person she's asking for help from?
No, she doesn't say the name, but she says, please help me in this, please. And she's crying and saying, please help me in this. I
Is
can't
the
tell.
woman the high
The
hair
princess one,
lady?
right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it the princess one, right?
The Sultan's cousin.
Right.
Is that her?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it doesn't sound like Cloud and Water, Tariq, so I think it's logical that you infer that that's her voice.
Okay.
After which, you're alarmed to hear Cloud and Water's voice break through and say, I'm sorry, that's all I can do for you. That's all the strength I have for tonight. You have to come back another night. And you hear the Sultan's cousin crying again. And then she stops after a while and she says, thank you, thank you. And you hear people standing up, Terry.
Okay, so Drake is not in the way of the door. So
No. But you hear people standing up. You hear people walking, Tariq. I'm just asking you in case you want to do anything or say anything.
well, he's going to be tucked out of the way,
Mhm.
right?
You
And
will
then
be.
I
Not an
will.
issue.
I'll also quickly message the coterie and say, princess leaving now, so they get on the phone.
Okay. So you'll receive that message, and 5 seconds later, the door opens, and they're quite surprised to see so many people in the corridor. But the lady just lowers her head, walks straight out the door with her bodyguards.
What do I see inside the room as the door opens?
It is Cloud and Water, and she's currently picking up things from the coffee table.
What thing?
You can see that what you do notice, because your heightened senses are on, is her hands are covered in blood.
Is there any blood on the people?
No. As a blood sorcerer yourself, you assume that she has conducted some sort of ritual.
But I didn't recognize what.
I mean, yeah, you have no way of knowing what she did.
That's it. That's totally fair. Okay. Do I get the impression of where the other people in the room were?
Chantel told you where they were. They're in the furthest corners of the room from the door.
Okay,
So door,
so
you don't see them though.
Yeah, I'll just be waiting.
Yeah. Okay, continue wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until they say something, basically.
Nothing. Then the boss, Sally, stops and says, "Oh, sorry, I have to check with Master Cloud whether the next client can go in." Sally
Yes.
leaves and goes in. Tariq, you still don't see them. I'm assuming, Tariq, you're standing so that every time the door's open, you can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Still no one. You hear her say, "Okay, ready. Bring him in." The boss is escorted into the room. Do you continue listening?
Mhm.
Okay. The boss is asking for. He says this in a mixture of English and Mandarin, but you catch enough of it to understand that he's saying that he's about to go to an underground casino where he's going to play baccarat for high stakes, and he would like to win, and he needs to win, and he's asking Master Cloud and Water how much he needs to pay for something that will guarantee him a win. She's quoting him $125,000.
Curry has that money.
He does, and he is. You can hear from the tone of his voice that he feels that that's too much. When she says, "You confirm win," and then he says he'll think about it. He walks out. After he walks out, you're left with only Sally. You know that Cloud and Water is alone in the room with no customers. Tariq, then you hear this. Does you really think that he will come back with this money? Do you think so? The other male voice you hear says, he definitely will. He's desperate. Cloud is very persuasive. Right, Cloud? You hear no response, Tariq. But you're certain that there's at least two male voices that you hear from inside.
So far, they haven't said anything that's actually particularly alarming to Tariq just yet. I mean, it's just like it's a shakedown and it's a bit of this and it's a bit of that, but nothing. It was only the bit that when we left that was of concern.
I'll just remind you, they said, do you think they still suspect us?
Which again is only mildly of concern because, hey, you know, if you had turned over from the other side, it would still be in a perpetual state of being suspicion, right? So,
and unfortunately, because you were the one who heard it,
yeah.
I'll let you roll. Okay, you're thinking back about it. You're thinking through it carefully. All right, why don't you make a composure plus insight roll? This is Tariq only.
Oh, I've got 4 dice. Oh, yeah. I have insight. Insight I have.
Okay, you need 3 successes on this to accurately.
Well, I'll use blood again then. Can I use blood again? Is that all right?
But track your hunger, please.
Yeah, well, I did the check on it and it was fine, right?
Yeah. Every time you do it, just track your hunger.
That one's good. Okay, it's good. And then, okay, that's good. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Just literally 4.
Okay, Tariq. You think back and you're like, actually, yeah, that is reasonable. They didn't sound like they were plotting per se. You can't be sure, but it did sound reasonable. It didn't set any alarm bells ringing, but it is suspicious that she has 2 guys in the room with her, and that's something of concern to you because they were there while you were meeting her.
But is it any more suspicious than if you were just hanging out with the Banu Hakim?
That's the thing. They're not the Banu Hakim, Tariq, and that's what worries you.
Okay. Right, that's a fair point. Okay.
So you're not completely certain that they're not a threat or that they're not plotting, but your conclusion is inconclusive.
But so basically, it's like plotting, but no more than any vampire kind of vibes. Sure. Okay, so Tariq will just sort of like head out.
But I will give you this also, Tariq. You have a strong sense that they feel mistrusted.
Okay.
Oh, Chantel, did you read her aura while you were with her?
I could. Yes, I would.
Yeah. So I didn't tell you this. I just told you that she was bored. But along with that, she seemed really annoyed and a little hurt. That they sent you surmise that they sent kids to come and check in on her.
Out of curiosity, when the ghoul princess lady left, did Chantal read her aura as well, or is that a?
Chantal, would you have read the Sultan's cousin?
Yeah, I would.
Because you'll know what blood
Just
sorcery
naturally
is cast
curious.
as well.
Yeah. Okay. There was no blood sorcery cast on her, but if you glanced inside the room,
I mean, how big is the space where we were talking? Would it be possible for me to glance in?
yeah, you would have glanced in, and you would have seen very briefly that Cloud and Water had used some form of blood thing. Not sorcery per se, it's related to Oblivion.
Okay. Interesting.
So I will then sort of head out and then sort of behind the other wing chap, as it were, just reasonably off behind. And then as I'm going out, I will tap Chantal on the shoulder and then kind of go out the door. And then a bit further away, I'll message them and say, yeah, let's leave. We're good.
We thank Sally for her time, apologize for having intruded on Master Cloud Water's time, and that, hopefully she can. Hopefully the gift will leave her in a more pleasant disposition towards us.
Oh, I think she'll like. Anyway, they started to play mahjong now. They probably want some snacks.
Okay.
She says as she walks into the room. Because as you all are leaving, then she walks into the room and then she's like holding up the bag. And you sense that she's about to say something like, oh, see what they brought us.
Huh. In the room, did we see anybody that she could play mahjong with?
Now that Tariq has told you,
Huh. So, has Tariq just told us? Because maybe now is a good time to eavesdrop. I don't know.
Jeffrey will turn around again and go back and crouch in the corner and eavesdrop for a bit more.
okay, I'm not going to make you make further rules. Tariq, the rest of you wait at the car so as not to attract suspicion, or you all wait downstairs not to attract suspicion.
No,
Okay.
man, 3 girls waiting downstairs at Fortune Center. She's
okay,
okay lah,
You
it's
can
okay
wait in
lah.
the car. You can wait in the
Yeah,
car. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Tariq, these are the things you hear. You hear people play mahjong. You hear them talking about the plan for moving in. What's the right way to describe it? Okay, they seem to be talking about something called the project. Okay, and they say that they should have enough money to complete the project within the next 2 months. They talk about whether they need to buy anyone else from Dr. Georgina. Okay, and then one of them tries the blood bags and they're like, oh, those stupid kids actually brought us something quite nice. Huh? Then the other person says, what is this shit? And then they exchange, you hear them exchange the blood bags and, oh, wow, don't take this one. And then you hear one of them hand it over, Sally, get rid of this. And Sally walks out with a plastic bag. The blood bag.
They're labeled as per what they've not been changed lah. So it's as per they were when we got them initially.
Batch 22, batch 24.
So there's only 2 of them that spoke about the blood, though.
You don't hear Cloud and Water's voice. It seems to be primarily the 2 male voices speaking.
And when Cloud and Water left, when Sally left and looked in the room, was Cloud and Water in there?
There is a black globe of darkness in the center of the room.
And heightened senses doesn't see through it?
Nope.
Okay, cool, you got it.
And Sally, you walk out of that globe of darkness. You surmise.
So you can't see whether there's a mahjong table or not lah.
No, but you hear mahjong.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So Tariq, that's all you get. You
And then
leave after that.
I will quietest my way out completely unnoticed, and then
You're certain that you won't notice.
and then I'll let folks know what we found and say, but at the end of the day, I don't know if I'm particularly suspicious of them any more than.
In the car park, Moon will have presented Chantel with a matching outfit from Bonito Flakes, which Rachel and Momo are currently wearing. It is in the seasonal shade of mustard yellow.
Awesome. I will
Can't hear Chantel, sorry.
It's like a uniform. But what about Tariq?
It's okay. I'm sure I can find something corresponding from like Giordano or something like that. This color is very popular now.
It's very, very kind of you.
Oh,
but
hello.
no, it is not done. It's not needed. No, Tariq will have at some point. He'll have gone into an alleyway or whatever, and then we'll walk out sort of unobfuscated. So it'll be like he won't drop Masquerade, of course, but he'll kind of be coming up to it.
Okay, I'm gonna assume you're in the car driving back towards Brass Bazaar.
That 2 streets to get across.
Yes. But yeah.
It takes like half an hour because the fucking book is one-way system now, right? So,
yeah. So you Tariq, you've told all 3 of them what you've heard.
Yes, especially about the project, the Dr. Georgina thing. I'll ask what Miss Chantal saw when the ghoul princess walked by. And did she see anything special about her?
She was using some kind of magic, but it's not like the one that you do. So maybe it's Oblivion.
What's oblivion?
It's their special power.
It makes them like what, forget or
No, they can. From what I know, it can do many things, but talking to ghosts is one of them. That's why I wanted to come see her, but I don't think she can teach me anything I don't already know.
And I think maybe she just don't want to help us. It seems like she don't really want to help us.
Yeah, I've got to admit that I think I need to just not speak anymore because
Yeah,
I've
I
been
think
trying.
so.
I've been trying to do the speaking thing, and you told me to do this, and I just it just doesn't, when I hit things, it works. So when I sneak around, it works. But when I speak to people, what happens? Well,
I think you
I get
practice
all
your
upset
joke.
when I tell them the truth.
I think you practice your joke, and when it's very funny, when it's funny enough, then we will release you
But I
upon the
was
world.
relentlessly honest in what I said.
No, you cannot. That's not funny.
No, but
He
it
was
was
a bit hurt, actually.
But why would they be hurt? All I said was, you used to be a member of this, Luxran.
Because
And
they used to be Sabat, and
yes,
they are wondering why the Camarilla sent children to come and ask them about it, like we are still suspecting them, of being in the Sabat.
should I write them a nice note?
Nope.
Depends on what your nice note says.
I mean, will you help me write one? I just to say, look, I'm terribly sorry. I did not realize you thought that we were suspecting you of being Sabat. Instead, please accept my humblest apologies. As Sabat go, I've not met very many, but you seem to be very nice.
Not okay enough.
You
I
seem
think it's not-
perfectly reasonable.
I think it's okay. Tell you what, I think it's fun. Okay, I think it's okay. I think you leave the talking to the rest of us. Okay, yeah, you just hit things.
But it was a good attempt though. I think you're getting better. Your jokes are getting a bit funnier.
Moon, I think this is not the case for you to be a social worker. Okay, don't be nice to him.
No,
he
I
will not
truly
learn.
believe it.
Okay, never mind. Okay, that's okay. Okay. I asked Tariq whether he remembers anything. Hey, so like, what do you hear the people say there?
Yeah, Tariq will say everything he can, which is basically he'll talk about the project. He'll talk about the thing about buying people from Dr. Georgina. I don't know if it means buying people or ensuring that one of the people that she knows has been bought, as asset that has been acquired in order for them to fulfill this project. I will also mention the black glow, and I will also specifically mention that the only voices I heard in there were the two male voices, and I did not at all once hear cloud smoke on the water. But as an odd thing, I did hear them say something a little suspicious because Tariq's obviously paranoid fuck, right? So he's like, and there was something they said about how they are always willing to. They spoke about cloud on the water in the third person as if she wasn't there, in the context of the Arbane guy that left, right? And that sort of stuck in Tariq's head. That's fair, right? It doesn't, like, they basically said, yes, well, as if she was a constructed creation.
You noticed that when they're speaking, same thing. The first time you heard the two male voices, she didn't respond. You didn't hear her voice in response.
Right.
And they also say that they want to buy people from Dr. Georgina.
But that could be a turn of phrase, and then I will also try and recall. I said, do any of you speak the Malay language?
Yeah, sikit.
I do not speak the Malay
Ah,
language.
yeah,
so
a
I'm
bit.
going to go with yes. Yes, okay. So I will then try and say some of the things that the woman was saying, and the guy was saying, the Bane voice was saying, because I had to memorize them.
Moon,
Yeah.
you make out the following details. Somebody has she's having nightmares. The lady, okay, the Sultan's cousin, is having nightmares about her child who she had aborted 15 years ago.
Okay.
And she says that what she's being told by this thing is that she needs to do certain things to appease the spirit.
Okay.
Yeah. And it sounds like the what's being asked is that it requires some gifts of value, like gold or gemstones,
Wow.
for the ceremony, so as to appease the spirit.
Okay.
That was what the guy's voice was saying.
Moon, do you have any occult, Moon?
I don't think I do, but I'm gonna share this with the rest of the coterie lah.
Tariq has a cult one. That's all.
Okay. Rick, this is random, but roll your occult and intel.
I know what it is. I know what it is.
100 dice?
Yes, please.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. 3 successes.
Whoa! Okay, you heard about this before in local mythology, as it were. She's summoned a spirit the spirit is asking for gifts to relieve her of her nightmares. So the spirit that's been summoned is a sort of demon of sorts that specializes in dealing with unhappy spirits. So the demon is probably promising her that with the gifts, he will take the spirit and remove it from her dreams.
So Tariq probably doesn't actually know most of the stuff, so he's actually just constructing the rough area, sort of like, oh, is it something like this? And everybody's filling in all the blanks for him. Because a lot of this is like cultural context. And
so Moon, if you know you know of this ritual that Bomos do with regards to these things.
Yeah, my first thought is Toyol, but I guess it's not.
The thing is, it could be a Toyol. It's logical to you that it is a Toyol, and that whatever has been summoned is going to remove the Toyol, which is tormenting her.
Okay, so I mean, I guess we piece this together. So it's like, so I guess the question is, like, so they cast the Olivia on her so she can spit to the spirit to help her get rid of the baby in her drums.
was the voice that I heard the same as the voice of the two people talking?
No, it was not human.
Okay.
Also, Moon, you know that the Toyol is not the actual spirit of her aborted child. The Toyol is pretending to be, in order to torment her.
Well, okay, so like that. So what shall we do with this information? I guess it will only tell us a little bit about her, so she can really call spirit to go and do things, like to go fight other spirit. I think
the conclusion is that they are, mostly scheming kindred the way that everybody else is a mostly scheming kindred.
I think she does have some power, but this is a big scam for them to get money for their project, right? Unfortunately, people believe in a lot of spiritual things, so it's easy to con their money from them.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to ask her for some, because there's a guy that I like. I mean, I don't sure I said who lah. I was going to ask her for advice, but maybe I won't ask her. It's okay. Moon goes into a level of giggling fit. No, yeah. So I think I better rely on myself.
Oh, who do you like? Maybe I can give you advice.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
We talk some more, okay?
Okay.
Moon is very glad that Rachel's taken a bit.
Rachel, you get a message, WhatsApp message from Mike at that point. Oh, how convenient. Telling you that Professor Susanto has gotten the device ready and asked whether you want to see it.
All of us?
He says they're welcome since you're the ones that helped to retrieve it.
Everyone, I just got a message from my friend Mike. You remember Mike?
Yeah.
He's just said that Professor Susanto has something interesting to show us. Shall we all go and see it? Would you like to see it?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, very much.
Yeah. Yes.
We'll just sort of turn off on the OMA system and then head off to that direction. Yeah.
And in the sort of meeting room of that particular part of Biopolis, where you all met Professor Susanto and Mike the last time, and Rachel, where he gave you the blood packs, you see Professor Susanto very happily, like really just very proudly, standing next to a table on which sits a really old-timey looking lamp, kerosene lamp that's shaded on 3 sides and only has one side open. And then he says, welcome. It's so good to see all of you. I have finally completed the device. So with this, we will be able to detect any kindred who are of the consistent with the blood type that we associate with the Sabbat, because we have taken their blood samples. So, for example, it will not detect you all, but it will detect them.
How will it detect them?
So, what it does is that it is powered, and then he goes into this long spiel about how the artifact is able to somehow act as a power source for the incredible magical engrams that come together to create this beam of light, okay, that changes color when it detects kindred of that particular blood within 1 kilometer. The beam goes out for 1 kilometer. The light will change from yellow to red when it happens.
Just to clarify, of that particular bloodline, right? Not all Sabbat, right?
Of the bloodlines of Ricos and of the Nosferatu who embraced the Thin Bloods.
Okay.
And he's very proud of it. He's literally called you in just to show it off to you. And he tells you, Tariq, that so probably Tua will come, and then he will be taking this, and then he will be getting on a boat, and then you'll be going to Batam to find them. Or patrolling, I don't know. But yes, this is not easy to do, but thanks to the 3 of you, it has become possible. He's rubbing his hands gleefully.
Rachel's very pleased at being a part of helping him.
It's very clear that to you as well, especially to you, Rachel, that he's called you and your friends in just to show off. And he's waiting for you to tell him how brilliant he is.
I think he's super impressed. He's just getting involved with like how does this ritual work and what have you done?
Explaining to you. Moon Chantal, you getting a bit bored.
Amungo asked when you mean like the bloodline, right? Is it like only like the children of this Rico and this Nosferatu, or is it like also like the people that are connected to them, that they share the same sire?
It includes themselves and their sires also.
And their sires as well. What about somebody that shares the same sire as Rico and the Nosferatu?
So he doesn't think they will pick them up.
So
okay,
but he's not sure. He thinks it's possible, but he's certain that it will work because he's tested it on the other blood samples.
I have one small question though, Professor.
Yes.
If I were on a boat a kilometer from Batam and I sent out a beam of light in a particular direction, and somebody perhaps on the shore was to look in my direction and say, oh, look at that, it's a beam of light. Well, that's funny, it has changed to a different color. Would that not provide a very clear target for the person that is holding this beacon?
Oh, yes. So I would recommend that you do not switch it on until you're certain that you see kindred. And you want to test.
Will this work during the daytime?
Maybe, probably. I think so.
But what is the point? We
Because-
shine the light and then what happens?
Then you will know that they are Sabat.
Okay.
He's,
we
he's
know
smiling
they are
very
Sabat.
gleefully.
Okay, so then Tariq just nods and goes, "That is very, very useful. Is it possible to replicate this device? To have many of them, perhaps? We could use
No,
it
unfortunately, this is the only one.
What if we? And Tariq is wondering what if you could use it as a light source in fiber optics?
Oh, maybe it's possible, but the problem is, and then he starts to explain that the magic would be too diffuse to work properly. It only works in this lamp. And at this point, Rachel, you're fairly convinced that maybe unless he's gonna give it to you, which he's not supposed to, he's supposed to give it to the sheriff. That he's just asked you and your friends back so that you all can praise him. Lah.
Moon is okay with this because she's not with the group anymore.
Oh, where's Moon Moon gone?
Is Mike around?
Ah, yes. Mike is there.
Yikes.
Okay, basically Moon Moon is chatting to Mike. So you guys, Rachel or anybody, you guys can come join the conversation if you want, but otherwise she's like, it's so funny. I love all the scientific experiment. So you're very good at biology?
Oh, yes.
No, it's okay, it's okay. It's
Yeah, so
a
the two of you
sample of
are
the conversation.
The two of you are chatting happily away in the corner.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's really cool, Professor. Yeah, well done. What do you think, Chantel?
Sheena can't hear you.
We will go there and shine the light, and then what happens? And then we say, yes, this person is Sabat.
Yeah, that's what it does.
And then Tua can deal with the threat once it is there. So he could use this, for example, when he's patrolling Sentosa. He sees somebody walking out of the water. Ah, is it a night swimmer or is it Sabat? Like, no change, swimmer. Like, change. Then the knife come up.
Ramji's face and Tariq's face look quite similar right now.
He's very proud of this. He really is. He's completely convinced
There
that
is
this is like the best thing ever.
very, very cool. Yeah, that's great. Thank you for inviting us to see it. Yeah,
Sorry,
really well done.
did I take you all away from anything? Were you all busy with something that I take you all away?
No, but I think maybe we have to do something else now.
Oh yes, I think in fact we need to continue that conversation from earlier.
Right.
So none of you are telling him that you all visited Cloud Water.
Oh well, actually Tariq is too dark to this stuff to say anything else. We need to continue that conversation earlier about the La Sombra thing.
Oh, yes, about the La Sombra. Yeah, what about them?
Oh, we went to see the La Sombra to ask them if they knew about Rico.
Oh, of course you know.
Well, that's why we went to ask.
Yeah, Cloud on Water was one of the I don't even know the name. Bishop.
What?
Bishop.
Like a knight?
She was
Do I know what a Sabat Bishop is? I've no idea.
I also don't know.
Does anybody know what a Sabat Bishop is? Would
Not
anybody
one
know what a
in
Sabat
three.
Bishop is?
Not in
But,
character, no.
What are the
Yeah.
stats that you need?
but Sheena, why don't you explain what a Sabat Bishop is?
Oh.
Sheena explains.
So you know how in the Camarilla we have Prince, Sheriff, and Primogen and all that?
Hmm.
In the Sabat they've got Bishop, Archbishop. It's kind of like a rank, I don't want to say official, but like an authority figure in a way.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so he's basically telling you that Cloud on Water was important.
Necessity
Really
strains
important.
bedfellows.
So, sorry, what do you say, Ramji?
I said necessity leads to strange bedfellows.
We were very surprised when she came over to our side also. But it was thanks to her that we were able to force the Sabat both out of Singapore and out of Malaysia.
Tell me, how How sure are we that they have not got some alternate agenda or secret project, if you will?
Well, it's been 3 or 4 years and they haven't killed us yet, so I think it's okay.
I would say something except I'm flirting with Mike. So I'm not there. You guys decide.
Right. Then that is an absence of evidence, which is as good as an evidence of absence, right?
Yes, we must trust each other, right? If we don't trust each other, then, you know. He smiles.
Jake just waits for him to finish the sentence.
Is she the only one of her kind here?
Oh no, there are. She came with at least 2 or 3 other Lasombra, but you never get to see the rest of them. At least,
Know who they are?
I try to see, but they don't appear to me. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, they
were
are
they-
obfuscated.
No, they have the shadow thing. I cannot see.
Were they introduced to the prince?
Oh yes, but privately, not to the rest of us. So
she's
they
the
don't show up.
face.
They don't show up for Elysium also. Only Clown Water does. And somehow the prince okay with it, so I'm okay with it.
If the prince is okay with it, then obviously who are we to not be okay with it?
He smiles. See, so we trust each other is a good thing.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Susanto.
Unless you have anything else for him, that's where we'll wrap up today's session. Moon chatting up.
Moon is very physical in the chatting. She's like, and every time she like laughs, then she'll like gently touch his arm. It's so funny.
So we'll just sidle up to Rachel ever so slightly and say, I thought she said that she liked somebody, and why is she being very familiar with your sire? Because I thought she was quite interested in someone else.
I thought so too. So I'm quite confused, but I guess I will clarify over lunch.
Like a midnight lunch.
Right.
At East Coast Park.
Our lunch, yes.
Yes.
Right. You know, I'm beginning to think confusion is my default state. Nevertheless, that's it. Thank you very much.
And so the parties learned some useful information about the La Sombra. And you have valid suspicions about them. We'll let you follow that through as much as you like. But in the meantime, thank you to all our viewers for joining us. This has been Singapore by Night. I'd like to thank our wonderful players again, starting from the top left-hand corner. It's Lisa playing Rachel, Joe playing Moon, Sheena playing Chantel, and Ramji playing Tariq. I've been your storyteller. My name is Edward, and we hope you join us again next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. But also, please do join us on our Discord. And also check out, this is the first time you're watching us, do check out our replays on YouTube. We do have another game on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Singapore time, and that is the Fourth Culture's unique D&D setting on the world of Ertu. Lots of amazing and crazy things happening there. You don't want to miss that. That's happening on Monday also. So, Ramji, over to you. Where are we headed now?
Wonderful. We're going to go and do our usual raid of our friends over at... D&D.
Oh my god. It's getting worse, guys.
I'm going to consciously get worse. And before we do that, we're going to play us out with the theme tune as always, and then I'll kick the raid off. So hang out for a second, and then we're ready to go.